ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै शांति शांति शांति। We move on to the next verse. क्व स्वप्न क्व सुषुप्तिर्वा क्व च जागरणं तथा क्व तुर्यं भयं वा अपि स्वमहिम्नितितस्य मे। Where is the dream? Where is the deep sleep? Where is wakefulness? And where is the fourth state of consciousness? Where is even fear for me who abide in my own grandeur? Straight takeoff. Now there is no need of describing the three states of consciousness, etc. After so many sessions, direct takeoff. Sage from Ananda Kutir directly takes off and then describes how you are neither of the three states of consciousness. You know the waking state. You know the absence of waking state in the dream and deep sleep states. Therefore, you are not the waking state. It does not belong to you at all. It belongs to the gross body. You are the witness of the waking state, just as you are the witness of table or chair. You are entirely distinct from the waking state. You also know the absence of dreaming state in the waking and deep sleep states. Therefore, you are not the dreaming state. It does not belong to you, it belongs to the subtle body. You are witness of the dreaming state, just as you are witness of the table and chair. Again, you know the deep sleep state when you get up the next morning. And when you get up the next morning, you are aware that the waking state and the dreaming state were absent in your deep sleep state. Therefore, you are not the deep sleep state. It does not belong to you at all. It belongs to the causal body. You are the witness of the deep sleep state, just as you are the witness of the stable and chair. You are entirely distinct from the deep sleep state. Direct takeoff. What did he teach few sadhakas once or many times, or maybe also covered in these sessions? Whatever you can experience, you are not that. Whatever you can know, you are not that. That means ultimately the awareness experience in the nididhyasana has to be transcended. As long as you are experiencing, your same faculty, your senses can take you from experience A to experience B to experience Z. So all the three states you are able to experience, you are able to know, you are able to tell something about that. So you are not that. We will come to the fourth state. So certain questions. Who is that which is beyond these states? Who are you in your sleep state that observe that there is nothing there? Who is the witness of that nothing? And what nothing witnesses all things? For all the above questions, let us get deeper into a state referring to second of the three states and then evolve from there to reach the highest state. Not the second, the two of the three states. The state where there is neither sleep nor waking. It's an important introduction to even the few sadhakas for the first time. Of course, this is an intermittent state, very advanced state, though. The state, please note, the state where there is neither sleep nor waking, but an intermediate between the two, waking state and the deep and the sleep state. There is an intermediate state, which you can say waking and sleep, or neither waking nor sleep in between. There is awareness of the waking state and the stillness of the sleep state. This is called Jagrat Shushupti. Again, note awareness of the waking state and the stillness of the sleep. For a long time, a sadhaka can be in this. This itself is a very, very advanced and a very, very subtle and difficult state. Awareness of waking state, stillness of sleep. Almost you can say Sahaja Samadhi. Call it wakeful sleep or sleeping wakefulness or sleepless waking or wakeless sleep. It is not the same as sleep or waking separately. It is Ati Jagrat, beyond wakefulness, Ati Shushupti, beyond sleep. It is the state of perfect awareness and of perfect stillness combined. It is also the interval between two successive thoughts. It is the source from which thoughts spring. We see that when we wake from sleep for few seconds. In other words, thoughts have their origin in the stillness of sleep. The thoughts make all the difference between the stillness of the sleep and the turmoil of waking. Before the thoughts arise, what is that state? You are awake, but thoughts have not arisen still. So there is this awareness of the waking state and the stillness of the sleep. Okay, Jagrat Shushupti. Go to the root of the thoughts and you reach the stillness of sleep. But you reach it with full vigor, with perfect awareness. It is not dullness, but it is bliss. It is not transitory, but it is eternal. From that, the thoughts proceed. What are all our experiences but thoughts? Pleasure and pain, ityadi, are all mere thoughts. They are within ourselves. If you are free from thoughts and yet you are aware, you are that perfect being. Few quotes from various talks of Ramana Maharishi from the book Talks of Ramana Maharishi, Talks with Ramana Maharishi, related to this Jagrat Shushupti. Shushupti continues in this state, waking state also. We are ever in Shushupti. That should consciously gone into and realized in the very state of waking also. There is no real going or into or coming from it. Becoming aware of that is samadhi. Again, he goes on. Bring sleep into the waking state and you will be all right. Then the self who was undifferentiated in sleep is differentiated in the waking state and sees the diversity. The real existence is the only one devoid of objective knowledge, that is absolute consciousness. This is the state of happiness. This state must be brought about even in the waking state. It is called Jagrat Shushupti. Then he gives an example. Maharishi gives an example. A passenger in a cart has fallen asleep. The bulls move or stand still on the journey. He does not know these occurrences but finds himself in a different place after he wakes up. He has been blissfully ignorant of the occurrences on the way, but his journey has been finished. Similarly, with the self of the person, he is asleep in the body. His waking state is the movement of the bulls. His samadhi is there standing still. Because samadhi is Jagrat Shushupti. What he means is that in the case of a passenger, the passenger had slept, right? He had slept. And then when he woke up, he found himself in a different place. He says, unlike the passenger who had slept, you can be in that state of wakeful sleep even while you are awake in your life. This is Sahaja Samadhi. Okay. You may be moving, but in Samadhi, You need not be aware of the movements, but neither are you in your dullness of sleep. You are in perfect awareness. Far transcending your movements. So, in the waking state, awake but asleep. Awake to your awareness, asleep to your movements like the cart movements. That is Jagrat Shushupti. What he told to few sadhakas, it should have flashed in their thoughts. If it has not, he will refresh your memories. He said, when you are asleep, in the deep sleep, Anandamaya Kosha, in the deep sleep, there is only bliss. There is no agitation. There is no restlessness. There is no disturbance. Then, why simply it cannot continue? The same state cannot continue when you are waking up. Why? The same body, mind, intellect, all were there in your deep sleep, but they were all not active, and you were in a state of bliss. Not that while going to deep sleep, you cut off your body, mind, intellect, and then you went into deep sleep as pure spirit without BMI. No. With the BMI, you are able to be in the state of absence of restlessness, agitation. Why with the same BMI, you cannot continue in the same state? He said, there you are not aware of your body. Here you are becoming aware of your body. Here you are becoming aware of the movement of the bull. Once you are one, the body consciousness is the biggest obstacle in sadhana. Your body may be put to full use. Your mind may be fully working, intensely working. Intellect may be at work. Still, you can be in the state of Jagrat Shushupti, in the state of absolute bliss. When you are like the indivisible rock taught to you in the Yoga Vashishta, your transcendental state is able to totally totally stop your senses from bringing the objects seen, perceived, smelled, touched, etc. to the mind and causing the disturbance in the mind. Like the indivisible rock in that story in the Yoga Vashishta, if you are able to exist in that state of bliss, then you are in the Jagrat Shushupti. The deep sleep state of bliss continues in the waking state, where you are fully aware, yet you are asleep. In this sense, your bliss in the deep sleep continues. It is samadhi only, but then why we are not bringing too much of that sahaja samadhi here? Because we are still discussing or talking about the states of consciousness. When all this talking stops, when everything is transcended, when even the fourth state, how can one transcend the fourth state? Impossible. We will see that. When everything is transcended, then you are in sahaja samadhi. Sahaja samadhi means that you There is no one within you to tell that you are in Sahaja Samadhi. That is Sahaja Samadhi. Anything less than that, any description, any talk may not be Sahaja Samadhi in its fullness. Right? A verse from Ribhu Gita says, there is no such thing as the troublesome mind, no world of names and forms, not the least bit of ego. All these are nothing but the perfect Brahman self, which I am. In this conviction, one should abide firmly until one achieves the state of sleepless sleep, which is alert peace eternal. See, everywhere this Jagrat Shushupti has been referred to. This wakeful sleep or Jagrat Shushupti can be carried on by sadhaka, a mumukshu sadhaka, for a long time. But the time has to come when he evolves higher and goes beyond the awareness or beyond the discussion that he is able to be in that Jagrat Shushupti state. Higher. In various different verses in the same ASHTAVAKRA Gita, it has been taught dream and waking state fall under the same category, where there is a waker and dreamer on one side, and the events and experiences which are happening to the waker in the apparent creation with apparent jivas, with he himself involved in the events experiences, exactly in the same way the dreamer is on one side and the dream experiences are happening on the other side, where the dreamer may himself be a part of those things which are happening there in the dream. Right? Now extend further. Go to the macro level. The creation itself is like a dream world. And all these apparent things in creation are like various happening in the dream that are unreal. All experiences in creation is unreal, and the creation itself is unreal because creation is exactly like the dream world. The samsara is like a dream, and everything happening in the samsara is the dream experiences, which you realize is were never real when you get up. So the ultimate getting up, ultimate awakening is that transcendental state beyond the manifest and the unmanifest, where you are very much beyond the creation, ajatavad. Extend, it is very simple at least for mananam state. Extend the dream state with you as the dreamer lying on the cot, no action, no movement, no body, no mind is active. A little mind is active, no intellect is active. Body is not at all active. You are lying on the cot and you yourself are seeing yourself in the dream. Sometimes, or you may not be there in the dream, others may be there in the dream. Exactly, that is happening in your waking state. You are there as the waker, witnessing everything that is happening to you, happening to the world in the waking state. And waker multiplied by infinity, all the wakers are, they are all witnesses to them, whatever is happening to them and happening in the world around them. Waker to the power infinity becomes the macrocosm, the world, the creation. So extending further, the creation itself is a dream, itself is unreal. Everything is unreal. You, the witness consciousness, is the only real. And the entire lifetime sadhana, several lifetime sadhana, nididhyasana, is to only discover that eternal witness consciousness within you and to abide in that self consciousness. Turiya. Turiya is with reference. Turiya can be with reference only to the other states, three states of consciousness. Turiya is upon transcending the three states of consciousness. When three states of consciousness are not relevant for a sage, then he is neither aware that he has transcended the three states and is in the fourth state. What Ramana told first ever 2011 three states of consciousness Mandukya Upanishad session, what Ramana said, waking is waking plus consciousness, dreaming is dreaming plus consciousness, because there is that witness consciousness in the waker, there is that witness consciousness in the dreamer, otherwise how can he remember the dream next day? There is that witness consciousness. Deep sleep is equal to deep sleep plus consciousness, because otherwise how can you say that you had a deep sleep previous night? And Turiya is consciousness. Simple. Ramana described the entire Mandukya Upanishad, all the 18, 19 or 12 verses in with these four statements. Simple. He spoke little, but every word uttered was an Upanishad in itself. The sage from Ananda Kutir rose or whispers, whatever you may say, on the Turiya state. The glory of the state of Turiya or Bhuma is ineffable. Its splendor is indescribable. Withdraw the Indriyas, meditate, live in the self. Your whole being will be uplifted into a kind of rapturous delight of mystic ecstasy. You will feel the divine thrill of joy. Wonderful peace will envelop you. You will be drowned in the ocean of bliss. All desires will melt into nothingness. All names and forms will vanish. You will behold the self everywhere. This wonderful state is indescribable. You will have to experience it, or you will have to exist. Beyond experiencing, you will have to exist as that yourself. Just like the dumb man cannot express the feeling of joy when he tastes a sugar candy, So also you cannot express the bliss of samadhi or union with the Supreme Self. Words are finite to describe this state. Language is imperfect to express this experience. It is the language of the supreme silence. It is the supreme stillness of the immortal soul. It is the peace that passeth all understanding. This is Turiya, or the fourth state. Now, coming to the present verse. After saying that there are no three states of consciousness, by now he believes that at least Mananam stage, you are very clear that in the seat of meditation, at least, you are neither a waker, nor a dreamer, nor a deep sleeper. Because you are experiencing all of them, you are knowing all of them, and whatever is experienced or known is not real. It's all objective awareness, because as a waker, as a dreamer, and as a deep sleeper, even that bliss, absence of agitation, is also an experience, objective awareness. He warned you, Anandamaya Kosha is not pure transcendental bliss of Brahman, but it is the happiness caused because of the absence of agitation, absence of restlessness. Even that sheep has to be transcended to exist as Atman. Like the onion peeling, he described one by one, one by one. Inside there is nothing. And that nothing is everything, Atman. Clearly, all these three states, whatever experiences I am getting, they are all objective awareness. And they do not pass the definition of Brahman, changeless. This definition they do not pass through. One day you may get deep sleep, another day you may get a very agitated sleep. Like dream, several experiences. Waking state need not say how many experiences you get on a single day, varied experience. And what is the texture of your experiences as you evolve, as you grow from childhood up to old age. Whatever is changing cannot be that changeless Atman. And also, there is one thing in you which is experiencing everything in all these three states, at least the state of absence of restlessness in the deep sleep state, if not anything else. So focus on that witness, Jagrat Shushruti. Focus on that witness. And existing as that pure witness is Turiya, which bestows such an experience, such a bliss, mystical bliss, which you cannot express in words. Right? Up to this state, at least before sitting in Nidhyasana on this session, we should be clear, convinced, no confusion in this. Okay, now we move forward. Okay, Ramana told that Turiya is pure consciousness. And what is our Purpose of our life to exist, abide in self, to exist as consciousness. That means to exist in the fourth state. And here Janaka is telling that there is neither fourth state for me. Apparent contradiction. How one can go beyond the fourth state? Does it a very big revelation is happening today regarding transcending of the fourth state, which is bound to give a big relief to sincere mumukshu sadhakas on their way towards self-realization. Does it mean that one is not even the self? Because what is the fourth state? Consciousness, Ramana told. And what is the fourth state? Consciousness, Mandukya Upanishad says. Mandukya Upanishad doesn't tell you to cross beyond the fourth state. Here, ASHTAVAKRA Gita, Ribhu Gita, Avadhuta Gita are all beyond all Upanishads. They start where Upanishads end. So here he says, no fourth state for me. Are, what is this? That means, is Janaka saying that I am not self? Because self is what? Turiya. And there is no fourth state. So he's saying that I am non-self. An intelligent person, a rational, intelligent person without taking all these things from a guru is bound to get into such vicious circle of confusion. Reading Bhagavad Gita or reading Upanishads or reading Upanishads. How does he say that there is no fourth state for me? Now you would also be a little confused. Why? What is this? Let us say. In jnanis who have destroyed the ego, the three states, waking, dream, sleep, which were seen previously, will disappear. And the noble state of Turiya, fourth, will itself shine gloriously in them as Turiya Tita, transcending the fourth. He will explain. This seems to be so abstract, he will explain clearly. Having experienced, having existed as that, from the source, it will come to you. For those who believe that it is coming from the source. The state of Turiya, which is self, pure Satchit, is itself the non-dual Turiya Theta. Know that the three states are mere false appearances. And the self is a supporting base for them. The base substratum on which, like a substratum water on which the waves appear and disappear, the self is the substratum on which the three states of consciousness appear and disappear. It is not only if the other three states were real, that wakeful sleep, Jagrat Sushupti, the pure jnana would be the fourth question mark. Since those three states are found to be unreal in front of Turiya, Turiya is the only state. Note therefore that it is Turiya, it's itself Turiya Theta. Thus, what does this mean? Let us be clear. Actually, there is no transcending of the fourth state. Because fourth state is the state. But Janaka, what he is saying, Of course, waking, dream, deep sleep, they are rudimentary now, gone, over, out. Even the fourth state as a concept, as an understanding, as a clarity, as taught in Upanishad, as a knowledge, I have gone beyond that. That is what he means when he says that Nachaturiyam, neither the fourth state. Fourth state, as long as it is discussed or it is talked about or it is experienced, what he said, any experience is not pure self. As long as it is the awareness of the fourth state or the awareness of the awareness is there, but note one thing. As a sadhaka still striving to get that experience, don't rule out the awareness of the awareness state. 1 in a million may get the 1 in a lakh may get the awareness of awareness state also. And it is okay to lead one whole life in the awareness of awareness. It is not a small thing, it is absolute state. Upon reaching that state and existing as awareness of awareness, that is Turiya, fourth state, for a long time, then comes the Kaivalya, then comes the Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where like, will the Brahman have the awareness of awareness? No. He or that is only that. Similarly, whether it happens is this birth or next birth or any birth, future births, you have to move towards that. Your aim has to be that with all these sessions. The ultimate transcendental state is the state where you are in Turiya without the awareness of awareness, which is the Turiya state. That is to say, neither the fourth state is there. So, Turiya Tita is nothing but existing eternally, incessantly, effortlessly, without deliberation, without thoughts, without awareness, existing in Turiya is Turiyatita, or it is the state where one is qualified to roar that even the fourth state is not there for me. Ultimate of the ultimate. For now, for sadhakas, Turiya is the goal. Awareness of awareness. That is consciousness without waking, consciousness without dreaming, consciousness without deep sleeping, pure consciousness, awareness of awareness. Turiya. That is the goal. In advance for any future birth, because as sanskara, you are bound to carry with you all these sessions, all if you are very sincere only, you are bound to carry all these things with you as your sanskara. So you are being taught in advance that crossing the awareness of awareness, transcending all awareness of any state of awareness and existing still, changeless, beginningless, middleless, endless. That is the ultimate attainment for any human being. Now, in the he wrote to you the message from the Grand Hotel Sharjah about the mother bird and the child bird. And he says, mother bird being the guru, child bird being the disciple. He wrote to you, he quoted Chinmayananda and said, when the mother bird is aware that the child bird feels it too difficult to fly, to cope up with the mother bird, the mother bird comes down and rests on a tree and allows the child bird to rest on the tree and relax for some time, and it keeps on watching the child bird, and as it is sure that the child bird is now filled with the energy, again it takes off and flies and takes the child bird along with it. It ordains, it commands the child bird to cope up with the mother bird. Similarly, maybe it's a thought, less thought, that maybe if Janaka would have felt, or whosoever composed this ASHTAVAKRA Gita felt that now this has gone too much above Turiya, above the Turiya. Now let us come down and rest on a tree and then talk about something normal which the student can translate to. Then the master is resting on a tree and allowing the student to rest on a tree and saying what? Kvaturiyam bhayam va api. Telling that I have no fear is coming down thousand steps below and then resting on the tree and talking about fear in common parlance. This is allowing a relief, allowing a space for the child if it has got too much aghast. When the master has taught that even the fourth state is not there for you, come on, have a glass of water. Now, let me tell you something which you can relate to easily. This comes just now, this mother bird, child bird, not written here, when it gives you. Suppose, at least intellectually, you think that one has reached that state, crossed the awareness of awareness, crossed saying, talking, telling about the fourth state, whis- stopping whispering anything about consciousness. Unlike Brahman doesn't say, cannot say that I am in the fourth state. Similarly, one has crossed the awareness of the fourth state. Now relax and tell. The mother bird is asking the child bird, can there be any fear in that, sage? Where there are two, there is a possibility of fear from the second to the first, or from the first to the second. Where there is only one, ekam eva advaitam, where you are only one, about what? From whom you can have fear. It may look simple. The mother bird has taken down the child bird and resting, but all the while the mother bird makes it a point to mention this line. The mother bird is just mentioning it just now, mentioning to the child bird, which is sipping a glass of water, some water, and then which is relaxing and looking up to the mother bird relaxed. It says, it may look simple, oh child, but you can be absolutely fearless only after you have crossed the three states and the fourth state also. By when he's telling this, now it is going to take off, fly and take the child again. Far, far beyond, beyond. Imagine, as long as there is some experience in the nididhyasana, there can be an experience of fear in your job, in your life, at your home, anywhere else. There is a possibility. That was an experience. This is also an experience. The possibility of fear is not ruled out. So it may look simple, but it is not simple. But we need not think about it. Still, we have crossed that awareness of awareness, because any thought about the fear itself will create fear. So we will mention it and put and flag this here and then get into nididhyasana for transcending the three states and hoping to transcend, go beyond the fourth state. Then there will be nobody in us to say that there is no fear. Fear is not known now at that state. Right? There is a purpose why, after transcending all the fourth state, Janaka had to say that I have no fear. Only upon transcending, one can have no fear. Right? Now, for sadhakas, in sadhana, possible, practically possible in sadhana, Swami Rama gives this a journey through states of consciousness, or he says the journey of expansion. Very much possible by you all. Through expansion of the waking state, one can attain Turiya. For now, when you go glide along with this sage's words, you just focus on only one thing: expansion, expansion, expansion. It will ultimately culminate in the transcending Turiya. At least definitely transcending the three states of consciousness. You make the waking state a means to expand your consciousness, to widen your little field of mind, which has got many barriers and fences. You are expanding the field of mind. For expanding the mind, one should understand two laws of life. One is contraction and other is expansion. In expansion, one learns to love, serve, and to give selflessly. Now comes that love. Love is expansion. Swami said, now comes that love part, which was given yesterday to few sadhakas. Love. love. Only through expansion, only through love. Even when you are pursuing a path of jnana, wisdom, self-inquiry, path of self-inquiry without love is dry, and one may end up without getting any experience at all. A love-filled heart, or one who has existed as a sincere bhakta, it is relatively more easier for him to get into the field of jnana, rather than the one who is intellectually starting afresh in the path of jnana. Everything will be abstract, everything will be too, not will be, everything may be. We don't know, we cannot say will be, because for all you may know, he would have finished all that bhakti and the love in the previous birth and started afresh in jnana in the current birth. So we cannot tell 100% will be, maybe very dry without love filled. There is no expansion possible without love. Selfless, pure love. Wanting to gain no recognition for the love. Seeking nothing in return for the love. Where love is the way, where love is the means, and love is the end. Not the love which we have been talking about in our normal life, ego-filled life as jivas. He is talking about love which is self in itself. That is how a bhakta like a Meera could attain Atmanivedanam and merge with Krishna even without the knowledge of scriptures or Upanishads or Jnana. Love in itself is self. If the love is at that level, highest level, expansion is not possible without love. In spirituality, expansion of mind is important. And for that, a student should learn to direct mind, action, and experience to the goal he wants to attain. When you expand the field of mind, the dream state comes under the waking state. He will explain how. Let your dreaming state become the waking state, and let your sleeping state become the waking state with the help of the technique of Yoga Nidra. In the process of meditation, there is expansion in the waking state. You are facing yourself in that waking state, and your thought patterns are coming. You have stored them in the unconscious, and when you relax your conscious mind, the thoughts come forward. Learn to allow your thought patterns to let it go, and then develop introspection. The waking state can be expanded, but even if you do not want to expand it, that at least you should learn how to make your mind one pointed through meditation on a focal point. He goes further. To cut short, what he says is that through love, when you expand, and expand and expand, and you are filled with love in the waking state. Filled with love means, like Swami has said, it is not a sofa come bed. Your heart is a single chair, whether either I can be there or the world can be there. Filling oneself with love, pure selfless love means either love can be there or your ego, desire, etc. can be there. When your heart is filled in the waking state, all other vices, the five kleshas, vasanas cannot be there. And if the five kleshas and vasanas are not there in the waking state, the same waking state is extended to dream state, and the same dream state is extended to deep sleep. That is what the sage is telling here. The same love is experienced in the dream. If at all you get a dream, the dream will be only about God. The dream will be only about some auspicious thing. The dream will be only about some selfless service. The dream will all be auspicious and is fully filled with love. The same love you are carrying in the dream, that is what he is saying in a subtle way, that the waking state can be extended to dream state. And if you are succeeding in carrying this waking state to dream state, the deep sleep state is bound to be eternally peaceful, with no possibility of agitation at all. This exercise is 100% possible for sadhana. Love, love, love. He also told a few bhaktas once, very recently he told, in the nididhyasana, throughout your life, even in the waking state, all through, contemplate on Aham Brahmasmi, contemplate on Brahman, be ever in the meditation, even in the waking state, on the self, Atman. The sunshine explained in the latest Atma Bodha talk. And he also said one thing, if ever, due to the forces playing around you in your waking state, if ever you are not able to contemplate on that Brahman intensely as you are able to do in your prayer room, in the Brahma Muhurtam, in the waking state, if you are not able to contemplate on Brahman, what he told, engage yourself in incessant devotion, or not devotion, incessant love. There is no difference between the two. If you fail, don't easily take up that truth and fail in your meditation. After 11, 12 years, for few sadhakas, at least Brahman, 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 Brahman. In few moments of lapse, due to the collective vasanas playing around you, if you are not able to be fixed, glued to that one Brahman, then revoke, recall your Ishtadevata, and then shed tears of love. Love is expansion. Now tell me how this is not possible for any sadhaka. 100% possible. Now let us end with what all these states mean for a realized seer. Waking state. We are ending with this. Waking state. Waking state is relevant when one's senses and mind are active. His desires are alive. A jnani sees but does not see, hears but does not hear. None of the objects in the creation have the propensity, have the power to cause any disturbance to him while he is physically awake, what the world calls as waking state. Nothing in him at BMI level is awakened, though they are active and working. There is no vasana which can take in the objects, pass through vasana, reach to the mind through senses, and cause a disturbance ripple in his state. Hence, with nothing awakened at physical level, there is no waking state for him. Nothing wakes in me, so I am not the waker. Remember, as Por from Bhiwadi, where he asked you to imagine, he commanded you to imagine a Jiva and a Jivan Mukta sitting together at the same place, and from the outside forces, many things are coming, rushing towards them for disturbing them. Here, for the Jiva, his past vasanas, in most of the cases, maybe vasana of the previous birth also, his vasanas of having vasana experiences of having dealt earlier also with these rushing forces, he gives up. The vasanas take over and they allow these disturbances to come in, and the vasanas, and then vasanas open his senses, and his senses gather all those things, and when the senses gather these things, they join hands with raga or dvesha, ego, and then they go to feed the mind, blinding the intellect, as taught to you in the MBCA session. The Jivan Mukta, all these things come to him. There is no vasana. The gates are closed, and there is no gatekeeper having the key, the vasana gatekeeper, to make an exception, open the gate, and allow these disturbances to enter inside. There is no waking state for me, though I am very much acting in the waking state. Dream. His eyes are closed, his body is not active, he gets into sleep. Remaining in the state of samadhi, which no vasanas propelling any desire in mind, the dream state is continuation of his samadhi state in the waking state. Actually, there is only samadhi state. For describing, he is taking you through all the three states of a realized sage, a Jivan Mukta, but there is only samadhi. There is nothing else. Hence, with no unfulfilled desires, with no vasanas left over, he does not get a dream with respect to any objects in creation. Hence, there is no dream state for him. Nothing wakes me in my dream either. So, like a garland, I am neither a waker nor a dreamer. Two things have come. I am neither of these two. Deep sleep, already given to you umpteen number of times. If there was any gap in his waking and dream state, And if there is a night when he gets a dream, another night when he does not get a dream, he can distinguish between the two nights and claim that the second night he experienced deep sleep. When there is getting into samadhi or coming out of samadhi is possible for him, then he can have a deep sleep on one night and he may not have a deep sleep on another night. When the waker and the dreamer exist no more, there is no distinct experience in me to call it a deep sleep. So I am neither a waker nor a dreamer nor a deep sleeper. And also remember, he taught you this also. After getting up from the deep sleep, if there is a fraction of the second for you to get disturbed by the world samsara, then you can say that in that fraction of second there is not that samadhi state, there is not that sahaja sthiti. So you can distinguish and say, prior to that, when I was asleep I had deep sleep. When all along the same state is continuing through everywhere, all these things become just a concept of the Upanishads. There is nothing at all. And about the Turiya, Turiya is the one who witnesses the three states of consciousness. When he has transcended the three states of consciousness, there is no relevance of the fourth either for him. I know not what Turiya is, as I am neither a waker, nor a dreamer, nor a deep sleeper. Hence, consciousness never separates itself from me to witness a waker or a dreamer or a deep sleeper in me. Couple of verses from GITA and we end. Chapter 26. Ramana has highly recommended this chapter from. He must say one must daily read even if he does not understand this chapter. That in which there is no trade of bodies, gross, subtle, causal, in which there is no trade of states of existence, waking, dream and deep sleep, in which there is no trade of souls, ever free, having attained freedom, bound, etc., in which there is no trade of afflictions caused by bodily and mental factors, caused by external factors, caused by supernatural and cosmic factors, etc., in which there is no pentad of sheaths, physical, vital, mental, intellectual, five koshas, and in which there is no experience of any of this, I ever abide in bliss without a trace of sankalpa in that itself, as that itself. In the same chapter, the essence Swamahimni Stitasya Me, it was not described because he has explained in the previous verses already, but no issues here. It comes in all its wholesome, pristine glory. Swamahimni Stitasya Me. What is that? Thus, therefore, I abide in the grandeur of myself. GITA explains that sense, that says that in which that in which all meditation is merged, in which yoga is obliterated, in which all ignorance is dead, in which all knowledge is nullified, in which there are no interactions involved, and which is the state of absolute truth. By the very conviction that I am that, be in the bliss of every being that itself. Merging in which one attains happiness always, merging in which one never experiences sorrow, merging in which one perceives nothing, merging in which one never takes birth at all, merging in which one never experiences a sense of being separate, merging in which one abides as the Supreme itself. By this deep conviction of I am that, be in the bliss of ever being that itself.